Social media trends and magazine headlines might have you believing that we're having more sex than ever. But if you dig... you calm down over there. If you dig deeper into the research, the opposite may be true. So we've got Jess back, and we're going to discuss this. We're going to talk about sex. Now, I hear Gen Z are they tired of sex? Is this what's happening?
You know what? That generation knows what they're doing. Seriously, they are quality over quantity. You've probably read the headlines over the last few years that Gen Z isn't having any sex, and people are blaming porn, they're blaming gaming, they're blaming, of course, the pandemic. But it's that attitudes toward sex have shifted. So there may be more people abstaining over time, but also they're just tired of sex being shoved in their face, and they're not the only ones, right?
Good.
Yes, like chill out
calm
a little.
down.
Let me tell you, as someone who got into this field, I came from a teaching background as a high school teacher, right?
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm in this for the education and for the reproductive justice. And now sex is just a commodity, and the fact that it can be commodified and sold to us. Look at popular cultural representations of young people. They're doing all the sex, all the drugs, and they are saying enough is enough. A new UCLA study says that they want to see less sex on television, and they want to see a broader, more diverse representation of relationships, including the value and diversity of platonic relationships.
Oh my gosh, I love these kids.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna ask the audience this. Would you like to see less sex and more friendships on TV when you're watching your TV? I think that's fair. We get a lot from all the different relationships in our life, and they're not all sexual, so I love that. But are people really having less sex?
Well, here's the super interesting thing. So we've seen these abstinence rates rising over the last few years, but we also had data that I just discovered today from a dating app. It's kind of rich data showing that maybe the sex recession is over for Gen Z when they're in relationships. So 20% are reporting that they're having sex daily. A good number are having sex 2 to 3 times a week, and 36% today are having more sex than they had a year ago. But more importantly, they are the generation that is most likely to get creative and be open and try new things. Again, quality over frequency.
Daily? Get a job.
Right?
What?
It's exhausting.
Within what hours? What? Okay, talk to me about this other trend, the new boy sober trend. What does that mean, boy sober?
Okay, so this comes from Hope Woodward. She's a comedian out of Brooklyn, and she said she is going boy sober, meaning she is going on a dating cleanse. So all the dating that hasn't felt good, because listen, if anybody is on the dating apps, they are also complaining.
Everyone, every single last one.
Right, no one is saying, oh, these apps are fabulous. I'm really making quality connections, having quality sex. So she is saying, let's be more mindful about this. Let's not make it about volume. Let's take a little break so that we can take stock of what it is we enjoy in terms of relational connection without like that high. Because when you first meet someone, you've got that oxytocin, serotonin, dopamine, or norepinephrine. It's all flowing, and it can blind you to what's actually in front of you. So she's just saying, take a break, go on a cleanse.
And what do you think of that? The whole idea of going boy sober.
I think that if it works for you, absolutely, especially if you're getting into the trenches and you're in a negative space. If you think dating sucks, take a break from dating.
Love that. Okay, let's talk about sexless marriages, which are always sort of this controversial thing. Right now, more people are coming up in front of it. They're talking about it. They're saying, yeah, this is happening. Tell us a little bit about this trend.
So it's actually more common than we realize, and I don't even really think it's a trend. I think, as you said, the talking about it is more normalized. So 12% of relationships for folks in their 30s are sexless. It's 20% for folks in their 40s, and it's 30% for folks in their 50s. And 75% of sexless marriages will dissolve, will break up. Having said that, I divide them into 2 types. There's sexless by design, where you both agree this is what works for us, and then you can have all the love and the connection and the pleasure and the intimacy, and it works for both of you. But most of these are by discrepancy, meaning one of you wants it, one of you doesn't, and it always, inevitably, leads to conflict, tension, resentment, and other relational issues.
Okay, so if you both don't want it, it's fantastic. If one wants it and one doesn't, it's a problem. I just like the fact that we're normalizing not having sex in marriage, because at some point there was this idea you're supposed to have it 3 times a week, or you're supposed to have it once a week, or your marriage isn't going to work. And I'd be looking at the calendar like, oh my God, carry the 1. Did we do it? There's Wednesday, there's Saturday. Like, I don't want to stay with him.
He only got it this time. It's a 0.5.
Right?
I'm only counting that as a half.
Does that add up? So I love the fact that we're sort of normalizing, do it at your own pace or not at all. What do you do if there is the discrepancy, though?
Right, so you do have to talk about it, and it's not a one-shot conversation. So folks who are accustomed to shifts in business are familiar with first-order change and second-order change. For first-order change are changes within the existing system, and second-order is changing the system itself. So for example, in a sexless marriage, a first-order change might involve changing what you're doing so it's more desirable to increase libido. It might be making a fire and ice list so you can understand what your erotic triggers and your erotic killers are. It may be making more time and making lifestyle changes so you can have the energy for sex, because so many of us who don't want it, it's because we are completely drained and depleted. If you go through first-order changes over time and none of them work, then you have to go to second order, and you might have to shake up the system, the relational design itself.
Okay, good info, Jess. Thank you so much.
A lot in a quick minute, I know.
Yes,
Big
but
topic.
you did it. So thank you.